basketball action. This afternoon, the homestanding Clemson Tigers take on the Louisville Cardinals. And hi, everybody. I'm Don Munson, along with Kelly Gramlich. We welcome you into Little John Coliseum. All right, so we have Clemson that is finishing up this 3-game streak against teams all in the top 10. Louisville comes to Clemson off a win over UConn.
A convincing win over UConn, Don. A 9-point victory for the Cardinals on Thursday night in the KFC Yum Center. In front of 17,000 people, saw Louisville's first win for Jeff Walz over UConn in his career. That was a big win for the Cardinals.
Let's take a look at both of these ball clubs. First of all, for Louisville, you think Louisville, you think Asia Durr.
You think Louisville, you think Asia Durr. You think women's college basketball, you think Asia Durr. She is, without a doubt, one of the best players in the country. The reigning ACC Player of the Year, averaging over 21 points per game. Hit 5 threes, scored 24 points in that win over UConn. She can score from all 3 levels, and she really is fun to watch.
As we flip the page and we go and look at Clemson, you think about them. Aaliyah Collier has been brilliant the last 5.
She is playing like a senior, Don. Over her last 4, she's averaging 18 points per game and over 8 rebounds per game. Put up 22 points, hit 4 threes against Notre Dame. There's no doubt she saved her best for last. Clemson's going to need a big game from her this afternoon.
So Jeff Walz, the head coach at Louisville, you can see in his 12th season. How about the last 60? 56-4 in the last 60 games under Walz.
Incredible for Walz, and he got that first one over UConn, which I know is big for him.
No doubt. Amanda Butler, obviously in her first year here at Clemson, you see the home record at 10-3. They've done a really nice job with this Clemson program as she begins the rebuild. And the opening tap will be controlled by Louisville. Louisville in the red uniforms, Clemson in the home whites. Clemson will open up, looks like a little man-to-man pressure. Up front, Furley. Get into the hands of Durr. Off of the corner, the Durr 3 is no good, and rebounded out of there by Collier. Into the hands of Westbrook, and the ball is kicked and sent out of bounds.
That's a good first defensive possession for Clemson. They're really applying that pressure. You see Destiny Thomas, Collier, Westbrook, those guards here for Clemson, extending the pressure up near the paw.
Get it inside to Collier as she's coming down the lane. Doesn't make the basket, but does draw the foul, and she'll go to the line and shoot a couple of free throws, and that is a big point of emphasis today for Clemson.
There's no doubt about it. You see Aaliyah Collier drawing the contact inside. Clemson shot just 5 free throws against Notre Dame. That was one of their biggest issues. They couldn't get to the free throw line. The Tigers averaged nearly 14 makes from the free throw line per game, so I know that was a point of emphasis for Coach Butler in their one day of preparation for Louisville.
And Collier's first is good, and Clemson on the board here at the 9:37 mark of this first quarter of play.
And we should mention Aaliyah Collier getting the start today for Clemson. She's really been coming off the bench and playing well, but she earned the start today in Coach Butler's eyes.
Misses a second free throw, but Clemson comes away with a rebound. Louisville play a little zone pressure here. Here's Thornton with it. Work it to Collier. Collier will take it to that left baseline, feed it into the right corner, and the 3, no good. Bennett the offside rebound. Westbrook for 3, no good. And another offensive board, this time Thornton from 12, yes.
3 offensive rebounds for Clemson on one possession. That was another thing the Tigers that just couldn't do against Notre Dame, was grab offensive boards. Clemson setting the tone early on the glass.
So a 3-0 lead here for Clemson. Durr. Feed it off to Jones. Back out front to Durr between the circles. This is Carter. Durr will drive, try the jumper. No good. Collier crashes the glass. Clemson wants to push the tempo. Bounce pass to Thornton. And a foul is drawn. They'll get Fury on the foul. So that'll be her first.
And that was a heck of a pass by Simone Westbrook, setting up Kobe Thornton, hitting her right in the hands and right in stride. And Clemson continuing to draw fouls, get into the free throw line. Don, I think this is a big part of this game. If you're Clemson, would you rather get Notre Dame coming off a loss or Louisville coming off a win over UConn? I think Clemson is the more mentally ready team, and we've seen that so far, especially being at home with Louisville, having one day to travel and prepare for Clemson after a big win over UConn.
And 1 of 2 free throws made there by Thornton, and the ball knocked out of bounds, and again it will belong to Clemson. Quickly into the ball game will come Dana Evans. Jasmine Jones will check out. Here's Westbrook inbounding. Collier feeds it low. Thornton operates, puts up the short jumper, no. Rebounded by Furry. And that's going to be a charging call. And stepping in was Thornton to take the charge on Dunham.
Kobe Thornton with a heads-up play here off the ball, just setting her feet, and Dunham thinking she could get to her spot. Kobe Thornton said, no, I'm not letting you get to that block. What a play by Kobe Thornton. And she played really well, Don, against Notre Dame. She had 16 points in that one. But prior to the Notre Dame game, 2 games in a row for Kobe under 10 points. She looked really motivated in that game against the Irish.
Kylie Shook will check in the ball game. And Clemson trying to push it forward. Durr went for the steal, almost knocked it away from Thomas. Thornton hands it off to Collier. Collier trying to drive that left portion lane, dumps it inside. Bennett, the short jumper, no. And rebounded out of there by Shook. Into the hands of Evans, and Evans quickly into the forecourt. Durr left open for 3. That's trouble, and that's why.
Asia Durr cannot get wide open looks from 3. If you're Clemson, that's the last thing you want to see for Durr. She's so good from 3. You can't give her that much daylight beyond the arc.
So a 4-3 Clemson lead here early on in this contest. Collier out front. Dumps it in the paint off the fingertips of Bennett. As Fearing comes away with it, and here is Durr. Stopping and popping. Misses that shot. Bennett tips the rebound out of bounds. Let's go back and take a look at this 3 by Durr.
Wide open on the left corner there for Asia Durr. One thing you mentioned, Don, you said this in the open, she played all 40 minutes of that game against UConn. She was tremendous, but you might see the legs affect her a bit, and I'm sure as I say that, she's going to knock down that 3 from the corner. Because she's
3.
Asia Durr.
That's right. 6'4", and Durr with the steal the opposite way. Saves it to Shook, and in the hands of Carter, and Carter will come into the forecourt. Carter trying to look inside. Instead, we'll give it to Evans. Evans going to penetrate, dump it off on the wing, and the 3 ball off the right wing, no good by Carter, and rebounded by Clemson. Collier into the forecourt. Dumps it left corner. They'll get it back out front to Westbrook. On the bounce pass to Thornton. Right side, she'll drive off the glass, no good. That was good defense in there by Shook.
Really good defense by Kylie Shook, who's one of the best blockers in the ACC, is way up there in blocks per game. Even had a game earlier this year against Tennessee State. She had 8 blocks in one game.
Durr trying to dump it off in the paint. Ball stolen away by Collier. Here's Westbrook with it. Westbrook, and that should be a charge on Westbrook, and it will be.
And you heard Jeff Walls, who's right in front of us, say, take that charge. And she was right outside the restricted area. She got Simone Westbrook in a Euro step situation where she really didn't have a choice. And that was a great play by Erica Carter, the redshirt senior, showing her veteran ability and doing what her coach told her to do. He said, take that charge, and she said, you got it, coach.
Denise Purvis will check into the Clemson lineup. Also China Cotton and Danielle Edwards, who saw her string of 112 straight games started in her Clemson career, snapped here today. Evans drives it against Purvis, then dumps it left side. Here's a 3 from Fearing, no good, and Edwards will claim the rebound.
Louisville's taken 5 threes so far. 5 of their 7 field goal attempts have been from beyond the arc.
Here's the Euro step here from Edwards, no good. Durr into the forecourt. Carter trying to dump it low to Shook, but the ball knocked out of bounds defensively by Destiny Thomas of Clemson.
Good job by Destiny Thomas. She was in help side. Louisville's guards are so good at penetrating and finding those posts. Help side is going to be vital for Clemson on defense today.
Durr off the left baseline from 12 is good. She's got all 8 Louisville points, and Louisville with an 8-4 lead.
She's just so smooth. So smooth. She knows her spots. She can score from anywhere. Her mid-range game is stellar, as is her shot from beyond the arc.
Edwards drives it in the paint, tries to put up a shot blocked. And here comes Louisville the opposite way as Evans will push it. Try to feed it out front. Throws it towards the midcourt stripe. Save, but then knocked out of bounds. Edwards, that was actually great hustle by Carter coming and chasing down that ball. I thought it was coming into the backcourt. It
was also such a heads-up play by Edwards because she knew that ball had to be saved from the half court. So she decided to play the passing lane instead of go after the basketball. It was a heads-up play.
Evans will drive it at Purvis, then dump it off right side. The extra pass. 3 ball is good by Evans.
Louisville is very good at making that extra pass. They're one of the higher assist teams in the ACC, and a lot of their threes, I'm pretty sure the 3 made threes they've made today have been open or wide open looks.
So Louisville opens up 3 of 5 outside the arc, and here's a steal inside by Shook. She'll feed it into the hands of Carter. Carter will stop and pop from 18. No good, but the rebound chased down by Furing. And we're going to get a foul called here on Clemson. All right, so Louisville opens up with an...
Not lose Asia Durr. And watch Erica Carter here. She's going to come through. These two are going to cross, so creating action in the middle. And Erica Carter's going to set that screen right for Asia Durr. Durr's going to come to the corner and get an open look. But if you're Clemson, you have to know at all times where Asia Durr is. You see all the action was on the inside, and Durr just slid down, used that screen. Simone Westbrook got caught, and you know that is a bucket for Asia Durr if she's that wide open in the corner.
Your drawings are so much better than mine.
I'm thinking I could get a little better, but I'm just so quick with it. I'm focused on the basketball and not the aesthetic.
11-4, Louisville, the early lead here in Clemson, South Carolina. Don Munson, Kelly Gramlich along with you. As you take a look there at Asia Durr walking out with Sam Furing. But Durr so far has been as advertised.
And to come off where she just played 40 minutes about 48 hours ago and be this good from the jump, it just shows what good shape she's in and, of course, the kind of player she is.
And you get a foul called along the baseline. We're going to get that on Thornton. That'll be Thornton's first and the team's second. Excuse me, the team's third.
Triple go!
And down out front. Looking around the Clemson zone. Shook. Durr thought about the 3. Here is a 3, and it's buried by Evans. And Evans' second 3 ball of the game. She's got 6 here early on. And a 14-0 run here for Louisville. Collier stops at the free throw line, tries the jumper, no. And a rebound out of there by Shook. Evans quickly outside Shook. Clemson going to stay in that zone pressure. Durr. Evans, nice little ball fake. Step-in jumper from 17 is good.
Dana Evans, she comes off the bench, but she could very well be the 6th woman, 6th player of the year in the ACC. She is their 3rd leading scorer, all freshman team last year. Don't let it fool you that she comes off the bench is my point, because she's one of the best players on this team, and she's one of the youngest. She's only a sophomore, but she can really fill it up.
Let's go back and let's take a look at the last 2 hoops. Evans, the outside 3, buried it. This is the basket I like right here, Kelly. Little ball fake and step in.
That's right, 1 dribble pull up. And of course, she just made a 3 on the previous play. So Aaliyah Collier ran out on her, tried to run her off the 3-point line. But that's one thing you have to develop. And I mean, Dana Evans is still just a sophomore. She obviously has it. If someone's going to run you off the 3-point line, a simple 1 dribble pull up will work almost every time.
It's now back-to-back games here for Clemson. They scored the first basket the other night against Notre Dame. Notre Dame then went on a 16-0 run. And here's Louisville opening up with a 16-0 run and up 12. Here with 4 to go first quarter. Cotton going to attack the lane, put up the left-handed shot. It rolls off, no good. Shook the rebound.
One thing you can't do against Louisville is miss layups. You have to try to score with them because you know they're going to score the ball. If you get a good look like that, like China Cotton just did, you've got to make it.
Evans drives against Westbrook, then dumps it inside, and Furing the nice finish.
We saw a good amount of those alley-oops on Thursday night to Brianna Turner. Louisville not as active with those, but they'll alley-oop at a time or 2.
Hosen Dove trying to drive the paint, dumps it to Thornton, and her jumper from 16 is good. So Clemson breaks an 18-0 run.
Finally stops the bleeding, as you said, Don. Louisville, I mean, took over this first quarter with that 18-0 run, and right now Clemson just has to find a way to get some stops. Focus less on scoring right now and focus more on getting stops on the defensive end.
Another ball fake, got Westbrook in the air, but the jumper missed there by Carter, and rebounded by Cotton. Cotton from 15, yes.
China Cotton playing with a high level of confidence right now. She's come off the bench and she's played better and better as the season has gone on. That was a really nice one-dribble pull-up for China Cotton.
Evans, the crossover drives, dumps it low to Shook. Outside to Durr. Swinging around, get it all the way to the corner.
Movement.
Evans, the three, misses everything. Thornton, the rebound, trying to feed it to Edwards. It was knocked away by Evans, but Edwards comes away with it. She'll drive, leave it to Cotton. She hit one, she misses the second. Rebounded by Carter.
Tremendous box out by Erica Carter on the backside, only 5'8", but boxed out the bigger player in Taylor Hosendijk.
Durr, the good look inside to Shook for the easy two.
As we've said throughout this broadcast so far, Don, Asia Durr, she really does it all. She doesn't just score. She can distribute. She can rebound. She can really fill up the stat sheet.
Thornton faces up, fires the jumper, no. Ball tipped out, though, as Durr and Shook both battling for the rebound. And it'll belong to Clemson here with 1:52 left. And subs back in.
And here's one of those alley-oops we were discussing. Dana Evans, she attacks, she draws the defense, throws it right up to her veteran inside and Sam Furing.
Collier drives it to the paint. Tries a shot inside against the taller Shook. Battles for the rebound, but Collier knocks it out of bounds. That's a difficult matchup inside for Collier there.
Earlier jumper there from Kobe Thornton. We know Kobe Thornton loves the mid-range. If they can get her any of those shots around the elbow extended, she's going to knock those down. Clemson
was in full court pressure, creates a turnover. Collier gets the ball, though, down low inside and is held up. So that'll be a jump ball situation.
And Jasmine Jones, number 23 here for Louisville. She has the turnover there, the bad pass, but she recovers. She gets back into it and ties up Aaliyah Collier before she can score. Hustle play by Jasmine Jones that prevented an easy two.
Collier trying to dump it inside, knocked away. The ball's still loose, and Westbrook comes up with it out front. Collier thinking about the three. Tries to drive it left side, put the shot up, no good. Rebounded Evans. Louisville going to push it with tempo into the hands of Carter. Back outside to Evans. Evans in the paint. Little soft jump hook put up no good by Dunham and rebounded Clemson.
Good defense inside by Kobe Thornton. Hands straight up, made herself big, didn't foul.
Collier again trying to drive, has it rejected. Gets the ball back, gives it off to Westbrook. Edwards dumps it into the paint, and the jump hook is up and good.
That's the next step for Tyler Bennett. We know she can rebound. We know she can defend. If she can become more consistent on the block, scoring the ball with a one-dribble turnaround and moves like that, that's going to be big for Clemson down the stretch.
Evans off the right wing will find Carter between the circles. Cross over the dribble, keeps the dribble alive. Bounce passes it to Shook. 9 on the shot clock. Outside to Evans. Evans against Edwards. And there'll be an offensive foul. They'll get Evans for the push-off.
It wouldn't be a Clemson basketball game if Danielle Edwards did not draw an offensive foul on the opposition. She's just such a pest defensively, and she sells it well. If someone makes contact with her initially, she is going to sell that play, and Dana Evans lowered her shoulder, and Danielle Edwards got the call.
Here's almost a steal by Shook on the inbound, but knocks it out of bounds with just 20.1 seconds left in the quarter.
I don't think they stopped that clock quick enough.
Yeah, I'm with you. So they're going to come back and take a quick look at it.
We mentioned Louisville in that 18-0 run. The past couple minutes have been much better for Clemson. Louisville took over that middle part of the quarter, but Clemson finally getting some stops defensively here in the latter part of the first quarter. And there's the play by Kylie Shook getting in the passing lane. And you see that clock just kept running.
Yeah, I guess about 22-8, 22-7. Yeah, about 22-3.
These are precious seconds for Clemson, trying to cut more into this lead, go into the second quarter with maybe a single-digit deficit. You want to make sure you get that time right.
So 22-3 up on the clock. Plenty of time for Clemson to get a shot off. Louisville will show some full-court pressure, though. Thornton will have to inbound it off the sideline. And does so to Thomas. Flipping in the hands of Edwards. Louisville will pick up in man-to-man, and Edwards will work out front against Evans. Give it out to Thomas, into the hands of Westbrook, trying to turn, take it into the paint, throws one up high off the glass, no good, and Bennett, the rebounding foul with 5 seconds left. That'll be the 4th foul against Clemson.
A classic over the back there for Tyler Bennett, and sometimes too for a player like Bennett when she's 6'4". If a smaller player puts a good box out on her, she's going to get called for that every time just when you look at it.
Carter races with it into the forecourt, will stop and pop for 3, no good. And so after a quarter of play, Louisville enjoys a 10-point lead over Clemson here at 20-10. They get the ball inside to Tyler Bennett, and Bennett able to hit the short jumper. The Clemson, a 10-point lead on the Clemson Tigers. Clemson got the lead early, and then Louisville went on a 18-0 run? To go up 18-4. Give Clemson some credit, though. And this is one of the reasons that the ACC is what the ACC is, Kelly. 5 teams right now in the top 25.
That's right. It's the best conference in the country. And Clemson, of course, hosting Notre Dame and Louisville in the span of 3 days. Played NC State the week before. Had a good chance to beat NC State in Raleigh. And then you look at the ACC in the RPI, that top 40, Clemson right there at 39. Many think the ACC could get 8 teams in. So Clemson battling with Georgia Tech and North Carolina for that NCAA tournament spot. But I imagine the ACC is going to get 8 teams. That's what they're predicting right now.
And it'll be a little bit of a shock if they don't get 2 number 1 seeds.
That's right. I think it's almost a no-brainer that they should have 2 number 1 seeds in Louisville and Notre Dame.
So Louisville basketball here to start this second half as Evans controls out front. They picked up by Thornton. Kylie Shook hands it off out front. Here's Jones. The ball knocked away by Clemson, and it'll belong to Louisville with 13 on the shot clock. And Jones, the junior from Tallahassee, inbounds. Durr trying to dump it off. Does. Furing with 8 on the shot clock. Out front in the hands of Jones. Jones trying to drive it into the paint, forces up the shot, but traveled with the basketball. She was driving the lane.
Good defense by Tyler Bennett to hold her ground right near that block area and force the turnover, force the bad decision by Jasmine Jones.
Thornton with one dribble hands it off to Edwards. Westbrook dumps it inside. Bennett a nice catch in traffic. Puts it up, can't get it down, however. Fearing the rebound.
It's a good slip by Bennett and a great power dribble to collect herself. Just missed the final part of that process, which was to make the layup.
Durr, back in the hands of Fearing. Now they dump it. Jones, nice little jumper from 8 in the paint.
Jasmine Jones averages just over 7 points per game. She had a double-double against UConn. She fills the stat sheet. She does it all. They don't call on her to score that much, but she can rebound. She can pass the ball. She's a great glue player for them.
Westbrook swings it to Edwards. Edwards back out to Westbrook. Thought about the 3. Now will step in. Jumper from 14. Good.
Clemson needs to get Simone Westbrook more involved. She only had 4 points against Notre Dame, only took 7 shots. That's a really good sign for Clemson in the early going.
Here's a jumper the opposite way by Evans and rebounded by Bennett. Running the floor is Thornton. Nice catch underneath.
Nice catch by Thornton and a really good pass by Daniel Edwards, knowing where Thornton is, how athletic she is, and where her catch radius is, if you will, using a football term. It was a great pass and a heads-up play.
Well, they had signaled that maybe Louisville had called timeout.
I thought Jeff Walz called a timeout.
And Jeff Walz said no. So
never mind, I don't want one.
They're going to play on. Subs do come in, though. And we're going to get a little hand check here by Edwards. That'll be her first. And the team's first of the quarter.
And Louisville still has yet to shoot a free throw in this game so far. Clemson's been called for 5 fouls. They almost got to the bonus in that first quarter. But the Tigers, for the most part, doing a good job of defending without fouling.
Look there at China Cotton as she checks into the Clemson lineup. And against pressure, Louisville going to throw it away.
That's what Clemson wants to do, force turnovers, get out and try to score off of those turnovers.
Cotton with Durr on her. Give it back outside to Thomas, and now Westbrook drives the paint, shovels it up and in.
Westbrook is getting going for Clemson, and that is a really good sign for the Tigers. Westbrook, that was such a hard attack. I mean, she put her head down and she attacked the basket. A good finish on the left side.
So a 6-2 start for Clemson here in the second quarter has closed it to a 6-point game. Outside the three ball, no good by Shook. And here's Clemson the opposite way. The left corner three is good by Thomas, and Clemson closes it to 3.
Destiny Thomas coming up with the big 3 in the corner, shooting just 19% on the year. You can see her confidence. I mentioned this with China Cotton too. You can see Destiny Thomas and the confidence in her game and her role. That has continued to grow during ACC play.
Here's Durr with it. She's been quiet here recently. See if she tries to end that, and she does.
And Asia Durr, she heard you, Don. She said, oh, I've been quiet. Let me just go score.
10 points for Durr.
One thing Clemson's done well so far, they forced 6 turnovers. Louisville had just 5 turnovers total in that UConn game.
Thomas misses a 3, but is fouled by Jones, and she'll go to the line to shoot 3.
And that's the kind of foul you can see. Jeff Walls really frustrated with that foul. You never want to foul a three-point shooter. And Jasmine Jones didn't let her come down, ran right into her. And Destiny Thomas, a little bit of a selling job there. You got to give her credit, but she earned herself 3 free throws.
10 of 15 this season from the charity stripe. So hits 2 out of every 3. And the first one here is off the back of the rim, no good.
She's frustrated with that miss. I always say one of the more difficult situations in basketball is to shoot 3 free throws off a 3, because it just feels odd. You're shooting 3 free throws. You feel the pressure to knock them down because you know how big that 3 would have been in terms of momentum. So Destiny Thomas missing the first, but bouncing back, making the second one.
Aaliyah Collier, you see, checking back in. That camo wrap on her hand. She missed several games this season with that hand injury. But 5 straight games in which she has scored in double figures. As Thomas misses the 3rd free throw, and the ball is going to be tipped out of bounds by Clemson, and it'll belong to Louisville. So Thomas just 1 of 3 from the strike, and Louisville a 4-point lead.
Injuries are never a positive thing, Don, but with Aaliyah Collier out in the middle part of the season, it really allowed players like Destiny Thomas and China Cotton to evolve and get more confidence and play more minutes, and I think Clemson is reaping the benefits of that now.
Fearing, feed it off into the hands of Carter. Man-to-man pressure here for Clemson. Durr.
See how far out Louisville is? Clemson really forcing Louisville out near that Tiger Paw.
Durr, the long 3 in the offside rebound. Collier. And she'll push it into the forecourt. Collier looking inside 1 at Bennett, but will hand it off to Thomas. Right side, here's Hosendove. Ball fake. Cotton, the baseline jumper, no good. Shook the rebound.
That's one of Cotton's shots. They love to get her in the short corner. I noticed her practicing that short corner shot in warm-ups a lot. That's a good look for her, but she's got to knock it down.
Durr stops and pops from 13, no good. Collier, another rebound. She is just gathering them all up. That's 7 boards already for Collier. Collier, the outside 3. Yes, she had 4 the other night against Notre Dame.
Aaliyah Collier has become so hot from 3 in these past couple games. Like you said, Don, she was 4 for 6 from 3 against Notre Dame. She has such a pretty stroke with that left-handed shot. And now Clemson down by just 1.
24-23. Durr feeds it left side. The extra pass outside. Shook's 3, no good. You want her shooting that shot. Rebounded another one for Collier. Long feed to Hosendove. Underneath, ball fakes, takes it up Shook with a block.
Kylie Shook, that's why she's out there for Louisville. She's 6'4", she's so good defensively. She's a great post inside in terms of blocking the ball on the defensive end.
Carter out front. Fearing had it knocked away, but right back in the hands of Erica Carter. Shook with it, with 10 on the shot clock. Hands it off to Robinson. Robinson goes left side, goes reverse layup. No, Bennett comes away with a rebound.
The one thing you can say about Asia Durr that is somewhat negative is she doesn't want to use her right hand. So if you force her to go right, which Clemson did right there, she might miss it more often than she would on the left side.
Carter slows it down, will give it to Robinson. Shook. Fearing at the left high post. Left open. She'll take that jumper and hit.
You can't leave Fearing that wide open at the elbow. I think Clemson thought that they were going to rotate and someone was going to pick up Sam Fearing, but no one was there.
Fearing with 4 points now. 26-23. Louisville by 3. Thomas, the little runner in the paint. No. Battles for the rebound. Hell ball situation. And alternate possession, I believe, will leave that with Clemson. And that will also lead us to an official timeout. So Louisville led it by 10 going into the quarter, but Clemson has cut it to 3. And one of the ways that they have done it is with the 3. Collier's 3 from outside, and Clemson.
Asia Durr is one of the best players in the country. There's no doubt about that. If there's one knock, one small knock on Asia Durr, she does not love to use her right hand. You see, she's attacking left here. Tyler Bennett comes up and forces her inside towards the baseline, forces Asia Durr to go under the basket and use her right hand in a reverse layup situation. And Durr did not want to do that. You see the ball just kind of fall off the backboard there. It's interesting because I would say the two most important players in this game, Durr for Louisville and arguably Collier for Clemson, are both lefties, and neither of them love to use that right hand. So we'll see which team continues to try to force these certain players to use that non-dominant hand.
There's Durr and there is Collier. Collier with 4 points, 8 rebounds so far in this contest. Durr with 10 and 1. Inbound Thornton to catch and fire and gets it.
And that's what Coach Butler wants to see right out of a timeout. If your team can execute right out of a timeout, that is always a happy moment for a coach.
Jones out front, gives it to Shook. Left side, here's Carter with it. Crosses it over. Back to Shook. Shook will step in from 14. Left it short, ball tipped and into the hands of Hosendove. Hosendove attacking and Shook blocking.
It was a great attack by Hosendove, the behind the back move, but Kylie Shook, she is so tough inside defensively.
Wide open inside is Dunham for the easy 2. Nice feed by the big by Shook.
Collier was not on help side, and the way Collier plays, she's so athletic. If she was there, if she was on help side, I feel like she could have impacted that shot, but she was just a step late getting over and rotating.
Westbrook gives it to Bennett. She was kind of juggling the ball, so not a walk there, and the easy 2 there for Tyler Bennett.
And a great pass by Simone Westbrook looking for her sophomore big inside.
Carter out front. And feed it to Evans. Evans back outside, Shook. Jones. Jones the outside 3 and hits.
Jasmine Jones shoots just 30% from 3, and Louisville had missed, I believe, 6 threes in a row until that moment. They're 1 for 4 in this quarter.
Collier, right side to the paint, puts it up, no good. The rebound comes tipped to her. Left side, she puts it up, no. Bennett inside trying to put it up. And the ball is going to, they're going to say off of Clemson, out of bounds.
Wow, I'm surprised there wasn't a single whistle blown in that whole sequence, either on Collier or Tyler Bennett. I feel like there was some contact inside on both of these plays, especially as Bennett brought the ball down a little bit. One thing Tyler Bennett can do in that sequence is try not to bring the ball down at all. Dana Evans, 5'6", was able to get her hands on that basketball. Bennett has to keep it higher.
Louisville by 4 as we play under the last 2 of this first half. Evans looking out front, finally gets it to Jasmine Jones. Jones works against Collier. Now the switch off to Westbrook. 4 seconds. Jones jumper, good.
Westbrook went for the steal. She didn't stay in front of her. She went for that steal. And we know Westbrook, she's the leader in the ACC in steals, so that is one of her strengths, but she's got to stay in front of Jasmine Jones.
Clemson had closed it to a point at 28-27. Now Louisville by 6. Bennett will bring it into the forecourt. Hand it off to Westbrook. Thornton hands it right back to Westbrook. Splits the defenders, but then loses the ball out of bounds.
And here's that Jasmine Jones. You see Westbrook, she goes for the steal with her left hand from behind Jones. She's short, she doesn't get to the ball, and that leaves a wide open jumper for Jasmine Jones, and she is going to knock that down.
66 seconds left here in this first half. Louisville up 6 and looking to extend that lead.
Clemson badly in need of a stop right now.
Jones, fall away, much too strong off the glass, and Collier comes away with it. Edwards stopped, but keeps the dribble alive. And will back it out and set the offense. Collier to Thornton, foul line jumper. What do they call it? They call it a foul on Bennett on the push-off, so no basket there. And Bennett will be guilty of the foul. Hers second.
You see Tyler Bennett inside. She does extend that right arm and hits Jasmine Jones up near the facial area. So that's a good call by the official.
So Louisville up 6, and there's about a 9-second differential between shot clock and game clock. Shot clock at 15. Evans penetrates. The floater in the lane is good.
What a move. What a move by Dana Evans. She now has 10 points. Tied for the lead with Asia Durr. They both have 10.
Louisville up 8 with 10 seconds left here, first half. Collier hedged upon. Trying to feed it inside, knocked away. Evans races into it, launches it, good if it goes, and it goes off the rim after hitting the glass, no good. So Louisville led it by 10 after the first quarter of play, and they will take an 8-point lead to the locker room here in Clemson, South Carolina, 35-27. Louisville by 8, 35-27 over Clemson. We get not that far away from starting this second half of action. Don Munson, Kelly Gramlich with you here in Clemson's Little John Coliseum. All right, so just what do you think about this second half? What are some of the things that have got to happen? We're going to take a look at some highlights here, but I like the way that Clemson is playing. Louisville, though, they're going to be Louisville.
One of those keys, Don, is to get Kobe Thornton involved in this offense even more. She was great in the first half. Look at that athletic play, the catch and the finish, and the fist pump, a friendly Little John roll for Kobe Thornton. But she has to get more shot attempts in the second half, whether that's in transition like that play right there near the high post where she loves that pull-up at the elbow extended. You've got to get Kobe Thornton involved. 9 points for her, 4 of 7 from the field in the first half. And defensively, Clemson held Louisville to 35 points. Had some bright spots on the defensive end. A good contest by Kobe Thornton inside, and then forcing Asia Durr to take a tough, contested three. That's one of my other keys, Don. Clemson has to contest every single three-point shot that Louisville attempts, because they could blow this game open with the three ball. Make Asia Durr use that right hand. Try to make her as uncomfortable as possible. Now, that is much easier said than done. Asia Durr has been tremendous today, and so has Dana Evans. A three for her in the corner. She has 10 points as well for Louisville. Durr with 10, Evans with 10, the sophomore guard for the Cardinals, doing it all offensively. And both of those players, Evans and Durr, they've been the catalysts for Louisville. You've got to slow one of them down, at least one of them down in this second half if you're Clemson.
I think also maybe if you're Clemson, Kelly, you want to force Louisville into a kind of a grind-it-out kind of ball game here. 35 points up on the board, so they're on pace to score 70 in this contest. You'd much rather see them score high 50s, low 60s, somewhere in that. Try to grind them out a little more. And
one way Clemson can do that is obviously applying that pressure. You want to force turnovers, and that might speed it up. But one thing you can do to slow it down is to get to the free throw line. And Clemson has to do a better job of that. 7 free throw attempts in the first half. They made 3. If they make all their free throws, this is a 4-point game right now. So Clemson has to keep that in mind. But I think you're right, Don. If this game is played in the 50s and 60s, that means Louisville has missed a lot of threes. And that means that they haven't shot the ball well, and Clemson's still in this game. But I'm not sure you want to run and gun with Louisville. And one reason why is because of Asia Durr and how good she is in transition, finding her spots, finding those good looks from 3. She knocked down 2 threes in the first half, was 4 of 10 from the field, but wasn't as effective in that second quarter. Clemson has to focus on what they did on her in the second quarter and really focus on slowing her down.
Only 2 points in the second quarter, and we've mentioned it, all 40 minutes against UConn just the other night. How much is that wear and tear on you, because it was less than 48 hours ago?
That is so difficult to do. Both of these teams played just 48 hours ago. This is a tough turnaround, and we'll see which team is in better shape, which team doesn't let fatigue affect them the most in this second half.
So Louisville basketball to start this second half. Edwards will get the start here in the second half after having that string of 112 games started broken at the beginning of this game as they lob it down low, get it inside. The shot no good by Furing. Here's a long rebound, tipped out. And Thomas controls for Clemson.
Really good defense inside by Tyler Bennett, making herself big, using her height.
Edwards will direct the attack. Westbrook, you got to feel like they need something both offensively from Edwards and Westbrook here in the second half. Not in the shot clock. A long jumper. Left it short. Westbrook trying to knock it away inside from Jones, but Jones able to control. And here's Durr lobbing it inside, trying to feed it there to Dunham. She loses it off of her fingertips out of bounds.
Both teams a bit sloppy early. We'll see if Louisville continues to try to apply some of that pressure. They're really marking Danielle Edwards. They want to make Westbrook start the offense and not Edwards because they know Clemson's so comfortable and Edwards can really trigger that offense.
Clemson's now almost gone 4 minutes without points, and here's Edwards trying to change that. Can't. Carter feeds it long to Jones for the easy two.
I think that's the easiest bucket that Louisville's gotten all day. It was a long rebound. They got it out quickly. Clemson can't afford to let that happen.
Thornton outside to Edwards for three. No good. Rebounded by Furing. Louisville had an 18-0 run already in this ball game, and here they get inside Dunham. And this is a big run again. This is an 11-0 run for Louisville from the first half now here into the second half. And a quick timeout called here by...
When the shot goes up, you always have to have someone getting back in transition off the rebound. Right here, Danielle Edwards takes the shot. Simone Westbrook, she either has to crash or get back. In this case, she needed to get back. And no one got back as Louisville grabbed that offensive board, gave it up to Jasmine Jones. Easy two in transition.
I understand that clearance sales are on. Things are at 70% off, but you can't get caught window shopping.
And that's what happened there for Clemson. At least one person has to get back. And that's the thing with Westbrook and Thomas, the guards on the wings. They weren't crashing the boards. They weren't going for a rebound. So if you're not going to do that, you got to get back in transition and make sure you're ready to play some defense.
Durr knocks the entry pass out of bounds. Thornton going to go long with it. Look for Edwards. Finds Edwards left side and comes out. But she'll go to the line to shoot a pair here. We may see some of that tomorrow in the Super Bowl. Little deep throw.
I love this play drawn up by Coach Butler. Louisville knows that they want Edwards to get the ball. So Edwards with a quick fake towards the ball and then sprints, uses that speed to go the opposite way. And a great baseball pass there. I think it was Destiny Thomas, if I'm not mistaken. And Edwards wanted that three-point play.
So Edwards steps up there and hits the free throw. And we've talked about this, getting to the free throw line. Second one is good.
Correction, Kobe Thornton with that baseball pass. Excuse me. Don't want to take credit away from her. That was a great pass.
So that is the first couple of points since there were 7 minutes left in the second quarter in this game. And a foul here out front against Edwards. First, second.
They call Edwards here for the simple hand check. You see, she actually held Durr there for a second, so they're going to call that, especially for Asia Durr.
Carter, the bounce pass to Furing at the left high post. She draws a double team, and Edwards gets in there and holds it. And both players go to the floor. Neither one of them wanting to give up possession of that. Alternate possession will leave it to Clemson.
And Edwards has to be careful here. She just picked up that second foul. That possibly could have been called for her third foul, but that's what makes her such a good defender, is that she plays with that motor. She's not going to stop playing defense, and a good possession there to draw the tie-up.
Bennett will feed it to Westbrook. Louisville with some full court pressure. Edwards going to drive it to the paint. Stop and pop off the back of the rim. No. Ball tipped around, and finally Jasmine Jones will come away with it.
Edwards being much more aggressive. She got the start in this third quarter. She didn't start the game. You see that aggression from her. She had the pull-up right there near the ACC logo. She's got to knock that down.
Jones left open for three. Nails it.
Wide open look for Louisville, and that was one of my keys for Clemson in the second half. You got to guard the three-point line a little better. You can't give Louisville wide open looks.
Edwards. Thornton, she'll take the 18-footer. No good. Furing will chase down the rebound. Fearing left side, Durr drives against Edwards, and that'll be a blocking foul on Edwards, trying to read where the All-American was going.
And that's 3 fouls now for Danielle Edwards. There's Jasmine Jones, her second 3. She's 2 for 2 from beyond the arc and 5 of 6 from the field. She's been efficient. And Danielle Edwards, she got in front of Durr, but her feet weren't set. They called a charge. I feel like they could have called that either way. They called the block, excuse me. She was in position, but the feet both weren't set on the floor.
Durr stuck in the air and just throws it away.
One of the first rules they tell you, Don, in fundamentals of basketball when you're a guard, don't get caught in the air. You never want to make a split decision in the air to pass or shoot, especially when you're that far away from the basket and you can't shoot the ball. She just simply got caught in the air.
Collier off the left wing. Get it right back from Thornton. Finds Bennett out front with 13 on the shot clock. Westbrook trying to turn the corner. During doing a good job defensively. Westbrook into the backcourt, touches it. And Clemson thought maybe that was last touch by Louisville. And I kind of thought that Fearing got a hand on that. Let's take a look on the replay.
First of all, that is an excellent hedge by Sam Fearing. And I do think that's a tough one, Don. I mean, she was all in that ball, but if Simone Westbrook touched it with her fingertips at the end, that might have been what they called there. But the main point of that play is that was a perfect post hedge defensively by Sam Fearing.
Louisville has stretched the lead to 13 at 42-29. Durr gives it right corner. Fearing at the left high post will take the jumper, no good.
It's a tough shot.
Collier with the rebound.
Aaliyah Collier now with a casual 11 boards with 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. That's incredible.
Westbrook trying to go across the lane and hit, can't. Louisville running the opposite way. They'll take it at Thornton, high off the glass, no. Thornton had it ripped away from her and stuck back up and in by Jones.
How many times has Jasmine Jones done that today? Just found the ball, tied it up, ripped it away from Clemson. That ball was tipped.
And after that ball was tipped, and they're saying that ball belongs, one official pointing Louisville. And I don't think they're going to overrule him. I think they're going to leave it. I'm with you, but the ball was tipped. And Amanda Butler not happy at all on the Clemson bench right now.
Clemson does have to take better care of the ball. I know they think that ball was tipped, but that was still an ill-advised pass against Louisville's pressure.
Jones out front. Durr. Swing it to Jones, left open for 3. Jones has caught fire here in the third.
She has 17 points for her on 8 shots. She's missed just 1 shot all afternoon. She's 3 for 3 from beyond the arc. Louisville just has so many weapons. If it's not Durr, if it's not Evans, it's Jasmine Jones catching fire, like you said, Don.
All of a sudden, they are up 18. Westbrook trying to split defenders, can't. Stripped away by Carter. She'll feed it to Durr. Bennett trying to trail her, but Durr laying it up and in, and Louisville by 20. And a timeout called by Clemson. And Amanda Butler comes out and talks, and take a look into the Louisville bench. The consort of the electric crayon. Or as your boyfriend
I
Nick
like that,
calls
electric
it,
crayon.
The Telestrator. I love that. We gotta give Nick credit for that. Hope he's watching.
I like the Telestrator. I'll go with that.
I'm all in.
Oh yeah, see?
There you go.
There's my hand. There's the Telestrator there.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Rick Bagby for the awesome telestrating equipment here.
New toys. So a 20-point lead here for Louisville. They knocked the ball out of bounds. They applied the full court pressure. Jeff Walls now, he's looking for 40 minutes out of his ball club. Right now he's got Clemson stuck. They've only scored 2 points here in this third quarter.
14-2 advantage for Louisville in the third period so far. And Louisville, they've been really good in the third quarter throughout the year.
Oh, and Thomas can't deliver inside. Shook the rebound.
Missed layups. There's a few of those for Clemson in the first quarter, and that's a play right there. You just have to stop the bleeding somehow, some way, and you can't miss layups.
Durr out front will work against Edwards. Cross it over. Dump it to Carter. Inside looking for Fearing, ball knocked back out. Carter, re-entry into Fearing. Trying a little drop step and picks up the foul.
Louisville was trying to go to Fearing the second they saw China Cotton having to guard Sam Fearing, who is 6'3". They went right back to her, and Fearing is so physical inside, took her time, drew the foul. That's just a veteran play by Sam Fearing, and China Cotton in there at 5'10", trying to stay in front of and trying to guard the 6'3" Fearing.
Fearing with only 4 points here today, make it 5 as she strokes home her first free throw of the contest.
She does have 6 boards to lead Louisville in that category, and they know that they don't need her to score as much because when you have Durr and Evans and Jones, but they need her to rebound, and that's what she prides herself on.
Fearing 1 of 2 from the free throw line. And a 21-point lead for Louisville. Edwards to Thomas. Cotton trying to drive. Gets inside, floats it up. Look like they may have been partially blocked. Collier comes down with it and draws a foul.
Malia Collier attacking the glass. This is what she does best. That's her 12th rebound of the game. Attacking the offensive glass, drawing the foul.
And you see Cam Clegg coming into the ball game for Clemson, and she'll inbound it. Collier traveled with it.
Coach Butler telling the official that she traveled, sure, but she also got fouled on that play. That's what Coach Butler was saying. But that was definitely a play for Clegg, who's known for her three-point shooting abilities, to get her to curl back, and then Collier was going to throw it back behind her to Clegg.
Durr's 3 was short. Offensive board, though, to Louisville. Jones back over to Durr. Shook. Jones, 1 extra pass. Evans, jumper off that baseline, no good. Bennett the rebound.
Good ball movement by Louisville, just missed the easy tune. Evans had been on the bench for most of the third quarter, so she comes in maybe not warm yet and missed that shot short.
Clegg, the outside 3, threw up an air ball. And Cotton trying to chase it down, but can't.
I mentioned coming off the bench, coming in and being asked to shoot right away. That was one of the issues there for Clegg, is she's been sitting on the bench for so long. She comes in, didn't have much time to get into the flow, and missed that 3. But as a shooter, you have to be ready no matter what. It can just be more difficult when you've been on the bench for a while.
Purvis back into the Clemson lineup. As you saw Clegg go out also, Edwards went out.
Tigers have yet to make a field goal in this third quarter. Credit Louisville and their defense.
Yeah, still only 2 points for Clemson here in the quarter. 35-27 at half. And that pass knocked away by Cotton inside.
And a good play by China Cotton. You can see Cotton's playing the 4 right now, and she's 5'10". They're trying to pick on her a little bit. She's holding her own, but they went inside to Fearing when she was on her, and they tried to lob that ball to Kylie Shook because the smaller Cotton is inside, but she's trying to hold her own against these bigger post players.
5 seconds on the shot clock, and Jeff Walls will call a 30-second timeout here with 3 minutes to go here, third quarter. And his team up 21. We take a look at Amanda Butler there in the Clemson huddle.
Here's China Cotton, and that zone look for Clemson. One of those guards, generally your 3 player, which is what China Cotton, she's playing the 4/the 3. You'd probably say Collier's in at the 3, but she's being forced to play at the bottom part of that zone. And Louisville, they're trying to pick on her. They're trying to throw lobs her way. Collier's athletic enough to make plays, and that's why Coach Butler has her in this situation, giving Tyler Bennett a breather. Camera guy, got to have your head, or your camera, I should say, on a swivel. You never know what could happen on the baseline.
So 5 seconds on the shot clock. Let's see what Jeff Walls draws up here. Gets it inside. Oh, and it just rolls off. No good.
He drew up almost the perfect play because 2 defenders went with Durr on the baseline, and he was frustrated to not see that layup go. He wanted his play to work.
Westbrook, and that ball tipped out of bounds. Belong to Clemson still with 15 on the shot clock.
Dana Evans all over the ball handler, all over Westbrook. Purvis was open, but Evans made that pass so difficult.
Westbrook looking to inbound. It does so out front to Purvis. Cotton will swing it to Collier. Collier will drive it past Jones and draw the foul on Jones.
And maybe you can hear that. I'm not sure. Jeff Wall's yelling, make her use the screen. And this was a perfect example of refusing the screen at the right time. You see the screen come up, and Jasmine Jones looks. She looks for Kobe Thornton because she's going to try to get over that screen. And Collier refuses the screen, goes to her strong side with the left hand, and caught Jasmine Jones taking that one step to the right. That was a good play by Aaliyah Collier.
Collier hits the free throw to make it a 20-point Louisville lead. Can't make the second, so still 50-30. Louisville has outscored Clemson 15-3 here in the third.
And all three of those Clemson points have come from the free throw line.
Jones left quarter. Out front to Evans. Right back to Jones. Trying to feed it inside, looking for Shook. Thornton steps in there and knocks that away.
Kobe Thornton thought she tipped that ball off of Kylie Shook, but the official was right there, had a good look at it.
Shook, 6'4", big body inside, the junior from Colorado Springs, Colorado.
She is every bit of 6'4", there's no doubt about it.
Jones works against Purvis and picks up the foul. That'll be her first. Team's fourth.
Clemson's fourth foul, so the next foul, Louisville will be shooting 2 free throws, and that's a situation where that crossover, I described Arike Gumbawale's crossover on Thursday night as nasty. That one was not as nasty, but that was a nice crossover by Jasmine Jones to get Kenise Purvis out of position and force the foul from Purvis.
Trying to dish it inside, knocked away. Clemson comes away with a steal. Edwards going to take it at Jones and will pick up the foul.
A hard foul from Jasmine Jones, not trying to let Edwards convert the three-point play. That is her third foul, so maybe not the best foul, but you are heading into the fourth, so you have some fouls to give. Danielle Edwards taking that contact and going to the free throw line.
Edwards at 75% on the year, but is 3 of 3 here this afternoon from the free throw line. All 3 of her points today have come from the free throw stripe. She's 0 of 5 from the field. Second free throw good. 50-32. Louisville by 18. Under 2 to go here, third quarter. Durr comes up with it, takes the jumper off the baseline. No good. Collier, another rebound. She'll feed it to Westbrook. Westbrook tries to put it up left-handed. No. Shook the easy rebound.
And who was down there fighting for that offensive board? Aaliyah Collier. She didn't come up with it, but she has been all over. So active on the glass today.
Ball kicked by Edwards, out of bounds. That'll leave 22 on the shot clock. 1:32 here, game clock, third quarter. Take a look at Aaliyah Collier. 5 points, but 13 boards for Collier. Shook. Good little pass there to Fearing, and the easy jumper for Fearing.
Asia Durr, her presence is so important to Louisville's offense. Because she was out up top, it forced Edwards to take one step towards Durr, and it left that high post open.
Thornton going to try to drive against Shook, force it up, and actually travels with it.
Take another look at this Louisville bucket. You see, it was tough to see from that angle, but Asia Durr, she's out there at the top of the key, and you just have to respect her. You have to know where she is. And sometimes when you focus on Durr so much, it leaves a player like Fearing, who's very capable of knocking down that jumper, wide open.
Shook pass to Durr, stolen away. Westbrook trying to go coast to coast with it. Floats it up, no. And Fearing the rebound. Here comes Louisville. Durr through defenders, can't get it down. And that ball will go off a Shook, out of bounds.
I think you're seeing a little bit of fatigue now from both of these teams as they're playing their second game in 3 days. And you see the reach in there from Erica Carter, the 2 steps for Westbrook. She's looking for the foul. Maybe should have had one there. Clemson's been to the line 13 times, Louisville just 2. So the Tigers have gotten some calls. And like we've said, they've scored all their points in this third quarter from the foul line.
Cotton hands it off to Hosendove. Back over to Cotton for the baseline jumper, left it short. Shook another rebound.
And that's why I said that I think fatigue is starting to set in a little bit. A lot of these shots for both of these clubs have been short. You get into the fourth quarter. You've played 2 games in 3 days. For Louisville, you've traveled. For Clemson, you're playing 2 top 5 teams in the country. It's a tough task to ask these student athletes to play these types of games in this short span, but that's part of the grind of being a student athlete.
Yeah, both teams here yesterday went through very light workouts. Shook's jumper, no.
Right, and as a coach, you do what you can, but you still got to go out there and play another game in a short span.
1 second shot by Edwards. Good if it goes. It does not. And Louisville outscores Clemson 17-5 in the third quarter and leads it by 20 as we go to the fourth, 52-32.
Tech is also involved in that as well. Clemson beat Georgia Tech, has another game with Tech coming up. Clemson's next home game is North Carolina. So these games coming up after Louisville, the Wake game, the North Carolina game, Georgia Tech, those are going to be very important. And this 3-game stretch that Clemson has played, it has to be one of the toughest stretches that any team will play in the country this season. 3 top 10 teams, 3 top 7 teams in 3 games in a row for the Tigers.
Yeah, I call it the area code 753. Yeah, I don't know that we'll see anybody else, men's or women's, that has to go against that. So Louisville basketball here to start the fourth. And that's an over and back. And that is just Evans, a mental error on her part.
That's right. And yeah, I was pointing that out because it just seems so odd that Louisville would have an error like that where Dana Evans jumped back court, coming out of a timeout nonetheless, or a break, if you will.
So Edwards into the forecourt, gives it to Collier. Collier trying to work off the screen of Bennett, but Shook hedges out. Try to give it back to Bennett inside. Who's that last touch by? Louisville.
And Collier trying to force a pass inside where there's a lot of congestion. There's almost too much happening in that area. The ball is bound to be deflected if you throw it in between all those defenders.
Cotton out front. Going to drive it against Ed. Evans trying to scoop it up, no. And Shook comes away with a rebound. And Shook now with 9 boards here this afternoon. Here's Durr off the extra pass, can't hit. Shook, the rebound and stick back. That's 10 boards for Shook.
The one thing Louisville has not done extremely well this afternoon is rebound the ball on the offensive end, offensive rebounding. That was just their 5th offensive board. Clemson has 10, but a good putback there by Kylie Shook.
Louisville by 22, and here's Collier trying to work it. Trying to drive it one-on-one, but can't. Shook another rebound. Furing now going to drive it. Thomas fouls her. Furing delivers, and we'll have an attempt for the 3-point play the Naismith way.
And we saw this earlier. We saw this in the third quarter, Don. No one was back for Clemson defensively. Everyone's watching the ball. You got to get back on defense with how good Louisville is in transition. Tyler Bennett's trying to get back. Destiny Thomas was in good position but should have been back earlier. And Louisville off to the races.
Prior to the UConn game the other night, game which, by the way, they gave up 69 points to the Huskies, so really not that many points. They had run a stretch of 5 straight games where they had not given up 50. 44 to Georgia Tech, 43 to Virginia, 49 at Wake, 49 at Florida State, 42 at home against Pitt. Obviously, all of those wins for Louisville. Edwards, right side, puts up the floater, no. Shook another rebound.
There is just a lid on the basket for Clemson in this second half. They still have yet to make a field goal, 0 for 15.
Durr, the extra pass to Carter.
That is a theme with Louisville. How many times have you said extra pass with the Cardinals? They're so good at sharing the ball on the offensive end.
Look at the second half field goals. 10 of 20 for Louisville. Clemson 0 for 15 coming out of the locker room. Seeing if they can end that streak, make it 0 of 16. Evans going to push it, take it right to the chest. And they're going to call a charging foul there. Take it right to the chest of Edwards. And a charging call on Evans.
Here's another look at that charge. Danielle Edwards outside the restricted area. Didn't have that second foot planted, but they still gave her the call, and Dana Evans not happy with that call as she looks at the official.
Edwards trying to go left side, put up the jumper, no.
Great
Bennett the rebound. And stick back, draws the foul on Shook.
And Tyler Bennett grabbing that ball from Kylie Shook. They're both listed at 6'4". I think Kylie Shook's bun gives her a little more inches there inside. But what a rebound by Tyler Bennett. And that's one of the, I want to say 2 or 3 layups tonight that Bennett has missed. She's played well, but she's got to get those layups to go.
Bennett misses the free throw. Clemson's gotten to the line 14 times, but only been able to convert 8 of those. Converts here.
You have to give the Tigers credit for improving on that category. They have gotten to the line a lot more in this game. 15 times. Louisville has been to the line just 3 times.
Outside jumper, no good. Thornton the rebound. Edwards hands it off. Thomas trying to turn it.
Great
nice
pass.
feed to Bennett, and there's your first field goal by Clemson of the half.
What a pass by Destiny Thomas. Draw that defense and didn't hesitate. Hit the wide open Tyler Bennett for the easy 2.
Durr the outside 3, short. Rebounded though inside. Fearing and a blocking foul as she tries to come along the baseline against Destiny Thomas.
Look at Destiny Thomas. She draws Shook. Shook takes 1 step up, and as she takes that step up, Thomas is already looking for her teammate.
Thomas' second foul of the game, and the outside 3 is buried by Erica Carter.
Another wide open look there for Louisville, and Erica Carter had struggled recently from the field for the Cardinals, so good for Louisville to see her making some shots, but recently she was 5 of 23 from the field in her last 3 games.
Edwards gives it to Bennett, 10 on the shot clock. Purvis trying to drive it on the left baseline and put up a floater, left it short. Shook again comes away with it. And we'll feed it to Carter. Evans 3 ball, yes.
Louisville's now hit 10 threes, 10 of 21 from 3, 48% from beyond the arc.
66-35. And Louisville has outscored Clemson in this second half, 31-8. Bennett will hand it off to Purvis. Purvis trying to turn the corner, will pick up a foul against Fury.
Here's another look at that 3 from Erica Carter, knocking it down on the right side, and then Dana Evans, another 3 for Louisville. They have caught fire from beyond the arc, and it's so impressive for a team like Louisville. You played you played on Thursday. You traveled yesterday, and you still don't look fatigued when it comes to your shot, not short on your threes. That's impressive for Louisville, and part of it is they have so many weapons. You can go to Evans, you can go to Carter, you can go to Jones. They really have a lot of players that can fill it up offensively.
Wayne, you mentioned that Jeff Walz has only played 8 here today. All right, he's only played 8 players. Remember, Diop, torn ACL, is out. Let's take a look here. Did we get must have a technical foul that has been called
on Sam Fearing? I think she said something to the official. She kind of laughed at the official, which I'm not sure if the official enjoyed that.
Yeah, but I don't even know that the official was even looking at that. Had to be one of the offside officials.
Yeah, that was a quick trigger there.
Yeah.
You mentioned Louisville only playing 8. Personally, I think 8 is the perfect rotation for basketball. You can play other players, especially if you get up in a big lead, but I think most coaches would love to have 8 players that they can play in any given game.
Hosendove will draw the foul inside against Dunham. That'll be the 15th foul of the quarter, but this could be Hosendove at the line to shoot 2 regardless.
And that's good news for Clemson. The Tigers now in the bonus for the rest of this quarter. They'll shoot 2 free throws on every foul.
Hosendove converts the first of the 2, make it 66-38. So China Cotton checking back into the Clemson lineup as Clegg will go out. Hosendove, second free throw no good. Rebounded Evans, or excuse me, Carter. Working into the hands of Robinson, who we saw in the first half. Here's Evans. Nice feed inside. Dunham the easy two.
They rotate so well on offense. You saw Dana Evans attack the basket, and Dunham moved to where Evans could see her. It was a good cut, and also a great cut on the other end there by Taylor Hosendove.
So Hosendove gets 40 points up on the board for Clemson, but they're down 28 here at 68-40. And across the lane goes Evans, and she'll draw the foul. And that will go against Kenise Purvis, her second.
Watch Dunham rotate as Evans drives. Dunham rotates over to the opposite side of the hoop to make herself available for Evans. And for these post players for Louisville, it's got to be fun to play with these talented guards, because if you just make yourself available, they're going to find you.
Evans to inbound it. Lobs it, catching and putting it up is Shook, no good. And Purvis trying to push it the opposite way, and that will be a charge.
And I have to think one of the bullet points on the scouting report for Purvis, obviously she's a great defender and she brings a lot off the bench for Clemson, but she can get out of control, especially in transition. And in this case, I thought the officials called a charge. It appears they called a block.
Oh, they did call a block. I'm like you. I thought they called a block.
Generally, officials are much more likely to call a charge when they feel the player's a bit out of control. I thought Purvis was out of control, but hey, she got herself to the free throw line.
Yes, she did.
Clemson shot 13 free throws in this second half. They've made just 2 field goals, but they've gone to the free throw line now 14 times, made 11 of them.
They must have called the foul there early.
Oh, they called the push in the back. I see. Okay.
Shook. Yep.
That makes a lot more sense. You see, Shook thought there was going to be a charge call.
That's what I thought. Louisville attacks the opposite way. Evans stops and pops from 13.
Dana Evans is going to be the next big star for Louisville. Once Asia Durr in this senior class moves on, she's only a sophomore. They're going to build their offense and their plan around Dana Evans for the next 2 years. I have no doubt about that.
70-42. Cotton, step back jumper, no good. And Shook once again on the glass.
15 rebounds now for Kylie Shook. She's only scored 4 points, but she has done her job grabbing rebounds.
Bounce pass inside for Dunham. In the corner, 3 launched and hit by Carter.
11 of 22 from 3. This team played 48 hours ago. That is so impressive to shoot like that after you were on a plane yesterday and you played UConn the day before.
Carter 3 of 5 outside the arc. Has 9 points. 73-42, Louisville by 31 with 4:05 left. Purvis, 7 on the shot clock. Trying to drive, and ball goes out of bounds off of Clemson. And it'll belong back over to Louisville.
And Louisville getting it done on the offensive end. Dana Evans, pull-up jumper right in the sweet spot of the paint, and then Erica Carter for 3. Louisville continues to impress. They're the best players in the country, obviously the 2 best players in the ACC. Both have scored over 2,000 points. Asia Durr was the ACC Player of the Year last year. Ogunbowale is averaging 0.2 points per game more than Durr. They're both over 21 points per game. So we'll see which player wins ACC Player of the Year this year. But what I love about this is we're going to see these 2 play in the ACC tournament. And then hopefully, as a basketball fan, I want to see them play in the Final Four if both of these teams reach that level.
And Durr, 50 20-point games in her career, 13 this season. It's out front. Lindsey Duvall in the ball game for Louisville, controls it. Swings it in the corner to Robbins. So Jeff Wall's emptying the bench a little bit. Robinson trying to drive it, had it knocked away. Lead pass to Purvis. Can't get the layup, and we're going to get a rebounding foul that will go against Cotton.
And Clemson forced a turnover there with good defense, got out in transition. You've got to reward yourself. You're playing so hard on the defensive end, you got to steal You have to make sure you make that layup and take your time on that layup in transition.
Third foul against Cotton and the team's fourth against Clemson. Duvall, outside Robinson, looking for Shook through it low. Tough for the big to go down and get that one.
When you're throwing the ball to your 6'4" big, throw it up near the Louisville on her chest, not down low. Don't make her reach down there and grab it.
Purvis will work it up floor against Robbins, young freshman from Harrodsburg, Kentucky. He is inside, feeding it is Blackstock. And Hosendove has it rejected back at her. Robbins into the forecourt. Robinson off to Shook.
That was another block by Kylie Shook. She has 4 in this game to go with her 15 rebounds.
Which is a new career high. Had 14 earlier this season against Tennessee State. In a 107-52 win, a game in which she also had 8 blocks. 3 ball out of the corner, no good by Duvall. And the ball finally pulled out of there by Clemson. Lead pass to Blackstock. She can't convert. Rebounded by Louisville in traffic. And we're going to get a jump ball call here. And that'll leave it with Clemson. So you see inside Hosendove stuffed not once but twice inside.
And in that play with Hosendove, Shook was just behind her. Shook didn't even jump and block that ball.
And we get a foul called on Cotton on a push on the inbounds. And for Cotton, that'll be her 4th. And that'll be the 5th team foul against Clemson, but a player control, so no free throws. Robbins will leave it to Robinson out front. Zone pressure here by Clemson. Robinson to Limley in the ball game. Outside 3 ball. Robbins hitting from outside. Sagen Robbins. That's the 12th 3 of the game for Louisville. They're 12 of 24 outside the arc.
Robbins was Kentucky's Miss Basketball last year in the state, just a freshman for Louisville. I know Jeff Wallace sees a lot of promise in her.
Hosendove trying to drive it and put it up, no good. And the ball tipped into the hands of Shook, but she was standing out of the bounds. So with 1:37 left, all belong to Clemson on the baseline.
One thing that might surprise people about Louisville, they have 5 Kentucky natives on this roster. Walls does a good job of recruiting that home state.
Well, Kentucky is a basketball
It
crazed
is.
state.
There's no doubt about that.
Between Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, that area right there, I don't think you have to go far. Limley feeds it back outside, and another 3, no good by Robbins. Clemson the opposite way with 1:04 left. Hosendove spinning and puts it up and in.
Great move by Taylor Hosendove. She's just a freshman. She struggled a bit against Notre Dame and Louisville, these elite teams, but you can see that move there. She definitely has the ability. Just have to put it all together.
5 on the afternoon for Hosendove. Duvall. Limley. Back in the hands of Duvall. 40 seconds left. And Louisville about to pick up their 21st win of the season. 2 on the shot clock. They'll throw it up. It will hit nothing. Shot clock violation as Limley threw up an air ball. And the clock had continued to run after the ball went out of bounds, so they have to come back over here and reset the game clock. And they set it to 30.4. So game clock, shot clock, just 0.4 of a second off of one another. Cotton out front. Bounce pass. Blackstock going left side against Shook and draws a foul.
Well done by Skylar Blackstock. Get that ball at the top of the key. Strong rip-through move with the ball and then attack. Strong to her left side. Another left-handed dominant player in this game, drawing the foul.
Foul on Shook. Blackstock's free throw is no good. Shook with only 4 points, but she has been dominant in this game in her 32 minutes of play. 15 rebounds, 3 assists for her. And Louisville can dribble it out here with just 7 seconds left, up 76-44. They're going to just throw it back out front, and Louisville will dribble it out, and will end up winning here this afternoon, 76-44, as they limit Clemson to just 17 points in the second half. They outscored Clemson 41-17 in the second half of play.
Louisville turned it on defensively in that second half, like you said, Don, and they hold their 6th straight ACC game, holding an ACC opponent under 50 points. You have